Hey everybody, inside the Red and welcome back to Hate Plus. Right, the last we left off, we had extracted 6 available files, all from Block M1 and... Huh. Or actually, wait. Oh, fuck it, never mind. Let's crush Rebellion. Let's get started. Another one you want to talk. So... But, oh. Mute. Yes, I see. Interesting. For my internal log, 7:20 p.m. in the Hale household during our daily meeting. Oh, is that gonna... Oh. Was Miss Scudder able to destroy all the computer records? Oh, it just kind of called back to them. Okay. But that was the... my husband? Which is, yeah. We read about this person. Click the name again in the log file. I'll remind you about them. Okay. How are you, Miss Hale? I asked. Seo Yeong at the showing up in her living room computer on her living room computer screen. Dead. Her very first words after a good morning, counselor, were, "I'm having a major crisis with my husband." It didn't seem like she was very serious, which is good, since I kind of like him. Go on, I said. You've heard of those fashionable paper lanterns, right? The ones that are genuine paper? They're sold in the Upper Court Plaza. Not really, no. Well, they let through this gorgeous red light. I interrupted her with a, "Yes, I know what paper..." Oh no, had they been talking the entire time? Shit. Well, that... Damn it. I'll have to pay more attention, and I can see what they said in post. Okay. Alright, well, they let through this gorgeous red light. I interrupted her with a, "Yes, I know what paper lanterns are like, so it's a crisis. Don't you think they'd be perfect for the living room? My husband objects because they cost about 50,000 silver per. He thinks it's too extravagant," she said, whatever that means. Does that man have any idea how much money you make?" I asked. She replied, "I don't think so. You know how men are." Of course, Mr. Kim is the kind to get jealous of his wife making more money than him, which is pretty silly. He's merely a teacher and is the accountants of security, as top lieutenant. He needs to get over it, I said. I said pretty much that to her. Oh. Okay, yeah. Oh, house is a crisis. She makes more money than her husband? Huh. I don't know. I think this extremely minor dispute about interior decorating may be fatal to our relationship. If you get a divorce, can I sleep in your home? I was, Oh, okay. What's wrong with that, Mute? That's your criticism, Hyun-ae? I was about to say something, but I got cut off when one of her young maids suddenly popping up to deliver tea. "Thanks, Miss Lim," said, dismissing her. "You know you already sleep in my home, right?" I responded once the girl left. "With all due respect, counselor," she said, "this is my home. How do you figure that?" Jeez. I told her, "Only because I bought it for your great-great-grandfather. I don't think you would have liked the old place. I think you have claws in the place bigger than it was. Not much room for those old servants either." Alright. Oh wow. Leave it to me to remember a debt for... She paused, counting on her fingers. Centuries? That'd be 200 years ago? It's not that long, I told her. She was amused. "You're awfully old," she said. I replied, "But you're still just a young girl. Wait, hey, is that a gray hair I see?" She protested in disbelief, but I didn't even have to make it up. She totally is starting to go gray. I mean, she's like 38, so it's hardly strange. "No way," she said, getting bothered. "Maybe I'll stay with my husband after all. You're mean." Scary. "Because he's too nice to make fun of your childish response to aging?" I asked. "No," she said, "because he's got terrible eyesight." Okay, I said, amused. "Let's get to business, alright?" She nodded, turning serious. What's the first order then?" "Well, want to crush a rebellion?" I asked. She got excited again. "Do I ever? Can we actually do that?" she asked, but with a smile on her face at the thought of it. "These democracy agitators have been causing no end of stress for the past, 2 years? I bet them the cause of this gray hair." She paused, taking a sip of her tea. "Can we destroy them? Please? Please?" Democracy agitators, huh? Well, okay. Like, women conspiring with this, like this makes me feel uneasy. I have an idea, and I think I can get, Chief Counselor Smith and Counselor Yang on board pretty easily. Let's call it, how about Operation Get Back at the Idiots for giving the young lady Chief Security Officer Hyun-ae gray hair prematurely, I said. It was a joke, but like, we both knew full well that the stakes here were pretty high. This rebellion really had been starting to get dangerous. Oh yeah, she said with a happy smile. This was the nicest gift you could ever have given me. Mute. Let's crush a rebellion. Huh. Eh? Oh. Oh no, she's gonna be right. I'm easily distracted as it is, and I'm having to pay attention to both them and what. Oh no. Efficient and subtle. She's an AI. There's no secret leaving me in a way like that. Well, yeah, but Counselor Mute has once again tried my patience by requesting a meeting with me and Counselor Yang at a very specific time and location, then showing up late. The subject was so important I had no choice to put up with it, but it doesn't mean I appreciate the utter lack of respect. She insisted on meeting in the Upper Plaza Restaurant Royal, and her Lieutenant Hyun-ae was the first there, but it took the counselor herself a whole half an hour for her to finally show up on our private room screen. Hey, sorry I'm late, she announced in the same perfect, gratingly cheerful voice she's had for the past 50 years. You didn't start eating without me, did you? How irritating. We'd never do that. Should I pour you a glass of wine? Asked Counselor Yang cloyingly, raising the pitcher in her direction. He's always been like this with her, ever since he inherited his counsel position. I can never tell if he understands the implications of her being an immortal computer program, or if he's just an idiot. Probably he's just an idiot. Man, I wish. The sort of shit we've got to deal with, I sure could use it, she said, with a slight flip of her golden hair. Then she turned to me. Anyway, Chief Counselor, I bet you're wondering why I asked you here, right? You said it was important, I asked impatiently. It's about the Committee for Freer Democracy, she said, with appropriate scorn emphasizing their name. This week, Miss Hyun has literally done nothing but shut down their meetings. How many noise violation orders have you issued in the past 7 days? 10? 15, said her lieutenant. It was a dramatic tactic on Mute's part, as if she didn't already know how many. My bad, she said. And every week the number of private log entries using their keywords doubles. I'm worried we're going to be reaching a critical mass soon. At this rate, I'm worried the presidential election results are going to lead to, like, public demonstrations. We can't deal with that. You're the council security. It's your damn job to deal with it, I told her. I'm not interested in excuses. She's not making a skip, her lieutenant started out of line, but Mute managed to muzzle her. Stand down, Miss Hyun, she told her. But then she turned to me with the same rudeness. Now listen here, young man. I was not, like, asking your approval. We have a problem, and a stern lecture from the chief counselor is not going to help, okay? You can blame me if you want, but that's not going to solve shit. Yang stifled a grin, thinking that I wasn't looking. I had to glare to put him back in line. Sheepishly, he took a large drink of his wine. I'd at least like to know why it is that you can't even do your job effectively, I demanded. Oh, she's even sarcastic to men. I know that's awful. Oh, it's terrible, yeah. I demanded show her some respect. Okay, sure, you got it, sir, she said sarcastically, an impossible expression on her face. But I think, sir, you misunderstand what my job is. My job isn't to stop public demonstrations. My job is to make sure public demonstrations don't happen in the first place. Like, do you have any idea what happened the last time we had public demonstrations? She paused. She expected me to actually answer her question, prepared to pounce the moment I got even the slightest detail wrong. I tried to recall, but she said something before I had the chance to say anything. Banditry? Jesus. No, of course you don't. It was like 4 centuries ago. They led to open armed rebellion. We're talking about outright banditry, okay? This is not tenable, sir, she said in a high and mighty way. Do you have any idea what martial law is like? Because that's what it took to crush it last time. So, interrupted Yang, you're saying that carrying out your job needs our help. You got it, counselor, she said. Look, there's no need for hostilities, man. We've got a common problem here, and I think we can sort it out. And really, Chief Counselor, in my opinion as Council of Security, and as the oldest person around by like a millennium, I think we can sort this out. But I wouldn't have asked you here if I didn't need your help. I sighed. She had a point. If I had to clean up what she couldn't, that's her job. What's your plan? You're not going to like it, she said, and I was sure I believed her. First, we let Park back in the presidential race. Oop. First time we've read about this person. Okay. That's what the agitators have been getting upset about. So it'd take the wind right out of their sails if we take away the main point of contention. That's madness. He's a radical and he'd very likely be elected, I said. What's the worst that happens? We just veto the bastard down at every step. The president's powerless against the council in the end, Yang suggested. No good. I mean, you're right, but that'll just lead to more unrest, she said, shaking her head. Yeah. Well, what the hell do you propose then? Just let him dictate his crazy, radical, anti-noble policies, I demanded. Yeah, actually, I think that's our best shot. Hear me out, okay? You resign as chief counselor, and don't give me shit here. I know you've been meaning to for ages. Don't pretend like you're upset for that to happen. We put in someone new, younger, as the face of the council. Say it's part of our new direction. The president's going to call for reforms, and we're going to let him. And our new direction will be going along with them. So we just yield to the madness of democracy then? Democracy's madness! I said incredulously. She sounded absolutely insane. But of course she had a plan, I'm pained to admit. No, that's crazy, of course not, she said. And then she grinned madly. We pretend to. We're going to be the democracy movement's worst friend. If the president proposes reforms, yeah, we'll nod along. We'll say we'll do it. Then we'll water it down. We'll stall. Because, here's the thing. The people, they don't have specific demands. They're dumb. They're okay with compromises. All we have to do is make it look like they've won, and the movement loses all its momentum. And then, rebellion crushed, said her lieutenant, smashing her fist into her palm dramatically. Efficient and subtly. You got it. Efficient and subtle. That's how we do it, said Mute. I wasn't sure at first what I thought of her plan. It's insane for sure. Of course she's chatty, it's part of her nature. Sure, Mute. I wasn't sure at first what I thought of her plan. It's insane for sure, it's incredibly bold, but the more I thought about it over dinner, I thought maybe that's what we need. And all the time I've known Mute, she might try my patience, but I've never known her intentions to be misplaced. She might be chatty and a gossip and disrespectful, but one thing's for sure, she's honest and never manipulative. I think there's a reason why she came to my face and asked me this when she could have just gone around me with the rest of the council. She might be a bitch at times, but she's still programmed to always act in the best interest of the ship's safety. Always. Nothing. By the time we finished eating, I just about made up my mind. Who do you propose the new face of the council then? You? I asked. Oh please. She shook her head dramatically. I said a younger face. Mine's old as it gets. Only by choice, Yang said. You can always look as young as beautiful as you want. Yeah, I shoved in that stuff, and when the fashion changes, I'm sure to do it again. She started. I think you'll find the way you are, Counselor, said Heyo, an odd tone to her voice. That's not the point, okay? She shook her head, looking exacerbated. We need someone who's actually young, who the peasantry will trust as though being willing to accept new ideas. Counselor Lee, perhaps? I suggested. No photo. Right, okay. First time, yeah. No, definitely not. Too charismatic, too ambitious. That woman has got an agenda, and I do not trust it for a second, she said. Ryu, as in Captain Emperor Ryu? Exactly, Ryu, he was, first name of the dynasty founder, Emperor Taijo. He paused, and a flash of light seemed to go off from behind his dim eyes. Counselor Ryu, he said. Give it to the useless figurehead Counselor of Captaincy. He'll be so thrilled to actually have a real job, he'd never think to do anything about it, anything with it. Huh. You're right, she said. Of course, I said too, after a pause of reflection. He's young, completely malleable, but plausible as a reformer. As the face of the Impotent Rebellion, Ryu would be perfect. Face of Impotent Rebellion. That was where we left the discussion for that night. And now, I guess it's time to tell my wife that I'll finally be retiring. She'll be thrilled. Well, this is already wonderfully political and going all over the place. Oh boy. Conspiracy, plots, scheming. Election night. Ooh, drama, I like those too. Like Is this another one of your otaku things? Man, I had the weirdest fucking night. Despite half the security force being pulled into guard polling stations election night, I was off duty at the time watching dramas with my similarly off-duty father, which was... right, okay. I'm not a fan, but he is. I find them pretty unbelievable, honestly. Anyway, he got the idea from one of the episodes that now would be the perfect time to send a gift to Chief Security Officer Hyun-ae, my aunt in the main branch, to say thanks for giving us the worst night off. Not that he actually had anything suitable, of course. He spent like 10 minutes scrounging and was only able to find a moderately expensive-looking wine bottle we've been ignoring for years. He seemed to think it made perfect sense. Well, whatever. That's dad logic, I guess. I bet my daughter will love it in the future. Is dad logic pejorative? How unfilial. Well, I mean, to be fair to your father, he likely had absolutely no idea that it was going to turn out as bad as it did for you. So, there's that much. I mean, it's worth spit, but you know. So I took it down the corridor to the main branch family's home. My father suggested it be a quick 5-minute internet affair, but it took 5 minutes at the doorbell just to get any sort of response. Whatever, it's not like I had anything better to do. A cute maid answered the door. She looked pretty sheepish. Can I see Chief Hyun-ae briefly? I asked her, if it isn't trouble. Sorry, she's out right now, she said quietly, still halfway behind the door. Jeez, Hyun-ae, show some respect, you're as bad as him. Is her husband home then? I have something to drop off, I said. He's home, but, She suddenly blushed and looked away. Professor Kim he's busy right now, and not to be interrupted, sorry. Is he having an affair or something? I just had something to drop off. It'll only take a minute, I said. I really couldn't interrupt. Busy, she said, awkwardly looking down and scratching her neck. It had taken me a second to catch her meaning. Oh, geez, does he mean her husband was doing the maids? Yeah, I think so. I mean, what else are maids for, really? Oh, that's terrible. Hey, Mr. Dragon Man's question. Okay. And Chief Hyun-ae's at the office, I asked. Yes, she said quietly. Sorry, I have to go now. And then she closed the door on me without another word. It's my turn to be bent over, is what she meant. It was pretty fucking awkward. Oh god, I can imagine. But whatever. I figured I might as well try to deliver it to her office. I figured I should at least be able to say that I tried in good faith and all. And man, good thing I did too. Pretty much all the desks in the main security office were empty, although all the lamps were still lit. Apparently I interrupted her in the middle of a conversation with Counselor Mute herself. Yes, mister, can I help you? She said to me. I introduced myself as her brother's son. It probably could have gone better. He wanted to send you a gift, as thanks for working so diligently on the hardest night, or something like that. Maybe with more stammering. Yes, she said, it most certainly is the most difficult night. At that point, as if on cue, she got distracted by a message in her earpiece. It was really scary. Oh, don't say that, she replied to the voice in her ear. Are you serious? Are these reliable reports? After a pause, she pulled a shot glass slimming from her shelf and slammed it back. I'll kill them, she said. If you see anyone carrying anything that looks even remotely like political signs, I want them set on fire. Not the signs, the men. Actually, the signs too. The point is, I want them dead, she shouted. At that point, I was ready to leave and just waiting for a pause so I could excuse myself. If I remember correctly, this was the guy she encountered late at night after being reactivated. So I can see why he was caught off guard and likely very nervous about her reappearance. Wow, women working really are as emotions you think. It might that, I'm sure it's fine. What? And okay, you can stop that. Yeah. Okay, belay that, Mute said from the nearby screen, pantomiming an earpiece of her own. Lieutenant, do not murder anyone. Elections with murders in them pretty much always turn into disasters. Let's not do that, please. Fine, no murders. Continue to monitor the situation, she said. Then she turned to Mute. For now, I'd recommend some unscheduled maintenance on the rail corridor to the fake ballots were spotted on. Already done, the counselor said. Can we send a team to intercept them? I don't know, said Hyun. We're already spread thin as it is. If we just sent a couple of uniforms in to be blunt, I don't think they could take out the protesters efficiently. It would cause a scene. Really? You can't do better than that? I'm disappointed, Meat said. I expected better. Regardless, I don't think they could, she replied directly. Fine. Guess we'll have to avoid that. The last thing I want to hear are rumors of the Council of Security is stifling the democratic process. That'll really agitate the damn democracy agitators. Redundancy, she said bluntly. I was surprised to hear it from the Council herself. I mean, not that I'd never heard anything about her, anything from her before, but it sounded surprising. Bunch of idiots. Don't they know what their candidate has already won? What's the point of protesting for Park when he already has the presidency in the bag? You control now? Right. Are you suggesting you don't want to set them on fire? She said, are you sure you don't want to set them on fire? She suggested. And knock it off. Murder's going to lead to rioting. Let's avoid that kind of shit, please, Meat replied, rubbing her forehead. Hey, if you're spread so thin, why is he off duty? She asked, glancing at me. I was way past the point of not wanting to be there. That's a good question. Why are you off, officer? My aunt asked, staring. I stammered. I don't have a weapons permit yet, ma'am. Well, it might be prudent to get one, don't you think? She replied. It seems a little awkward. Just because he's dead doesn't mean you shouldn't show respect, Hyun-ae. Saying he's a little awkward isn't exactly disrespectful, though. I'm not sure exactly what I said. Something like, yes, ma'am, I think, but it seemed like the perfect chance to get out of there, so I excused myself and did. I'm not really sure what they were talking about, even now. I didn't hear anything about trouble with protesters, and I've definitely heard no end to family members complaining about Park being elected, so they were right about that, and I guess they managed to sort it out somehow. Something with those two women doesn't feel right, though. Why is that, though? It was weird, though. And I guess maybe I should try for that weapons permit? Alright, then. Anything? Nope. Elegance in her cat-like grin. Showing that like she was responsible for putting the first emperor into power. It has been a rather awfully stressful week, but I feel as though it improved significantly after my daily meeting with Mute, the day of the first council meeting post-election. As of an hour ago, we've got a new chief counselor. Ryu Hyun-soo Smith stepped down, and after a tedious amount of debate, we managed to push Ryu through the vote. It's all official now, she declared. Congratulations, I told her. I'm truly relieved to hear that worked. Tell me about it, she said with a sigh. There's going to be a joint broadcast of the new chief counselor and our new populist bastard president tomorrow, officially announcing their joint willingness to pander to any political agenda endorsed by enough idiot voters. I'll make sure the announcement has a security detail that's properly decorated, I offered. Yeah, of course, Meat said. But man, I think we're actually going to be okay here. It looks like we've gotten through the hardest part of it. Now we just have to worry about politics, not agitators and public demonstration. Yeah, a lot of scheming. That's putting it lightly. I sure hope so, I said. I mean, I think we really are okay. I just want to say, Miss Heo? Yes, I replied. Thank you. This could have turned out a lot more violently than it did. Look, you've put in a lot of really hard work in the past week stopping things from escalating further, she told me, staring at me intensely. And I really appreciate it. Great Lieutenant, Heo. Keep up the good work. Huh. Then she offered me a sincere smile with elegance and grace in her cat-like grin. I could hardly help from feeling warmed in the sight of such a charming gesture from her, a woman known for being brutally honest. To hear a compliment like that coming from her, I knew she meant it. It felt good to be appreciated for all that, and I felt proud. This tone. Oh, it's sweet. Of course I'm not jealous. Thanks, I ended up muttering, without a shred of neither elegance nor grace. I am simply happy things have worked out without any violence. Well, good job. We couldn't have done it without you, she said. Then she turned serious. Anyway. But it made me feel a lot better about this whole stressful week to have acknowledgement from her like that. Truly. Anything? Nope. Give the report. How unprofessional. What orthodox. I have absolutely nothing to report today. The Flower Festival is still utterly boring, and I still do not enjoy the celebrations. The plaza was peaceful, 0 arrests were needed, and decreased security presence shipwide has led to no negative ramifications. My cruel boss still makes me write these things. Your cruel boss being, yeah. She's not like me, okay? Old Mute was counts for security, but, like, she's a practically different person. Yeah, I can see that in a lot of ways. Still makes me write these things, even nothing of note happens, though, so here I am filling up space out of boredom. I've noticed that Mute has updated her appearance again recently. There's a lot more silver hair mixed with her blonde, and she's been wearing it short. Oh, so is that... Okay, so I'm guessing the image that we've been seeing there, the one from this little portrait, is the quote-unquote changed one she's referring to here. And she's wearing it short. And I'm really enjoying her new suits that seem to be all about narrow-waisted vests instead of jackets. Because of the strong silhouette, and it feels really intimidating. I'm so happy to see her dressed like that when the fashion lately has been for women to wear long dresses and seem less imposing. She's really done the opposite. Suits? I knew the past was civilized, but Old Mute too? I bet you look good in one too. Probably yes. Although it's hard to imagine Mute in a suit. Rhyme. Just because she normally wears, you know, dresses and, well, she's been wearing dresses the entire time she's been in the game, so. Women in suits. Right. I think she's the most gorgeous she's ever looked, gray hair and all. I mean, I always feel outclassed by her, and I know she's got 1,600 years on me, but I'm glad she's starting to look older at the same time I'm feeling it. I wonder how often she changes her visual age. Regardless, she makes it look so good. She's been doing this thing lately where she'll light a cigarette by snapping her fingers and blow smoke at dramatic moments and say something like, "Just watch me." And it's enough to make even the coolest people's hearts skip a beat. How inappropriate. Are you maybe fantasizing about doing something cool like that yourself? Mute? Really? Also, this is sounding a lot like attraction as opposed to just admiration. I didn't want to just out and say that because I don't want to jump to conclusions and potentially read too deeply into something that might not be present, but it's sounding more and more like this is, well, like I said, attraction. I bet it would make Mr. Investigator's heart skip beat too. I don't care about that, okay? Do you though, Mute? I mean, you can go ahead and try and see what my reaction is. I wouldn't complain. And that is my report for today. Can I replace you with a large potted plant? And that is my report for the day. Do not ever do this again, Sarah Young. It is embarrassing on every level and not the point of daily reports. I will replace you with a large potted houseplant if you ever turn in a report this unprofessional again, okay? I want a screenshot of that. Thank you. That's beautiful. I love it. What to say? Okay. And just making sure. Right. Fuck Heyo family gatherings. This boy swears so much. You sure I'm talking about me? Like, even a retrograde family, this disrespectful attitude is inexcusable. The retrograde came later, Mute. I'm so sick of spending time with my extended family. I don't think I've ever met a single person who thinks these Heyo family gatherings are any fun. Everyone I've talked to seems to secretly hate them. Every single one. But we all pretend to care and take interest in how every random unimportant cousin's been doing, and who's just got married, and who fucking cares about it all. Also, who's fucking who? Who's the new sister wife? My mama sister said. Oh god, family reunions do suck though. I try to avoid family gatherings as much as possible because I barely know. I barely know most of my extended family. There's like 4, 5, 6, something around that range. Like maybe 6 to 8 that I know on a level where I'm kind of comfortable around them. The rest, though, they're practically just acquaintances, barely above strangers, and I don't like that the feeling of being forced to attend just because everyone else is doing it, and they'll gossip about you. I mean, it's already shit when you go to begin with, but ugh. I'm sorry I'm venting, okay? This time, someone apparently paid serious money to hire an entire troupe of actors to perform short scenes in the living room, which at least shut down the conversation. Unfortunately, the performances were complete shit. I needed to get away and slipped up between sets under the pretense of trying to find the washroom in the hopes of falling in and therefore having an excuse for not being around. Instead, while I was wandering the... One of those stories. What exactly? Instead, while I was wandering the halls of the main branch's absurdly large home, I ended up stumbling on the weirdest scene. A table with a card game in progress on it, with an old professor of mine. Okay, his professor. His wife was Heo. Yeah, he had a younger daughter, and was also, kind of henpecked. One end, and a mostly naked, flat-chested maid sitting on strewn about clothes. Other dude, so you're playing strip poker with one of the maids during a family what? Are you stupid? Sorry, I was looking for the washroom, I said sheepishly, and started to back away. It wasn't even like the door was closed. I wasn't trying to sneak in anyway. They were just there for anyone in the hall to see. Wait, the table's in the middle of the hall. Wait, don't go, cute boy, the maid called out. Do you want to play Huatu? We could release a third. I like playing Huatu too, though. The cards are pretty. But like, you didn't play any games like that, right? You know, Army Gals has strip poker DLC. I'm not, no. We could release a third. Is that okay? I asked, looking at the professor, terrified that I'd interrupted an intimate moment. Then I remembered the last time I'd visited their house, home looking for his wife, the chief security officer, and how he was indisposed then too. That was a weird fucking night, because he was off fucking someone other than his wife. Yes, if you have silver to play for, he said with a shrug. It really did seem like he didn't care. No, of course not. This is a bit, that shit-eating grin. Sure, I said. Even then I got the feeling I was about to be hustled, but whatever. Anything to skip the family. I hear that, he said. Bloody in-laws. I'm a Heo too, I said, then introduced myself. You're Professor Kim, right? Had you in an Earth history class. Let me guess, first year? You went to every other officer in your family, he said. Go ahead and deal, Mimi. Ooh. First let me remember this person. Click their name again in the long font around you. Huh. Yeah, go and deal. I can't really give a play-by-play of the game itself. I don't really remember that well. It probably didn't help that after putting our silver for the stakes, Nini kept pouring me more and more to drink. Oh, you are getting played, son. That's a really unusual name. Is it a real one? I asked the maid. Who, again, just to make sure, yeah, okay. Just clarifying. Nope, was the only response. I kept trying not to stare, and it wasn't working. Maybe that's what the nudity was for, to win at cards by means of seduction. I mean, man, it sure worked. Oh, so is it not just strip poker? Is she just stripped down because, hey look, tits. I mean, man, it sure worked. It was pretty hard not to get caught up thinking about how soft that bare skin would feel against my hands, and instead worry about my hand in the game and how hard I was getting. It was also losing me a rapid number of points. At first, I didn't realize just how badly I was doing. I'll get that in a second. How bad I was doing because I assumed my real threat was the professor, and he always seemed to be at the same point I was. And Mimi was only whittling us down very slowly, never calling go no matter how big the lead was. The next thing I knew, we were both out. Who is this base woman and why is she in their home? Oh wow, I won, Mimi exclaimed with a girlish giggle. I feel like I'm on a roll. How about another but with higher stakes? A fine silver per point. And that was the hustle. Yeah, I know the story ends. No bloody way. I know when I'm done, the professor said. I'm sitting this one out. I would be lying if I said the reason why I went in wasn't simply because I was attracted and wanting to spend more time with Mimi. I mean, I figured I'd be able to make back my money because I couldn't really take that giggling very seriously. But mostly it was attraction. It ended pretty quickly. 3 rounds in, I had to arrogantly raise the stakes, then promptly got utterly swept with a single play that took my opponent from 0 points to having more than enough to wipe me out. Twice. Go or stop? I asked. Stop. That puts me in an awkward position, I explained. If you do that, you'll win, and I'll be out. And I don't have anything more to put more in my purse. But I'm having a lot of fun playing with you, so if you say go, we can take another few rounds. Nope, stop, was the response, followed by a cutesy head tilt. Then I watched as my money got swept off the table. I'm not playing for fun. I'm playing for money. You're vicious, I teased. I have to be, Mimi exclaimed. I've got tutors for my entrance exams to pay for, and I am but a poor little thing. The last word was dragged out. It was a little bit too cutesy. Tutors? The exams aren't that hard, I said. Huh. And when did you take them? 40, 30? The professor scoffed. 37. Not that old. Well, they were a lot easier then. Anyone can get in. How many Chinese characters do you know, kid? He asked, rolling his eyes at me. I thought back to school. He was actually my least favorite professor. I thought he was pretty obnoxious. But of course, knowing the class is important. So even then, they were rushing to his character. That's so stupid. Okay. I know, not many. Yeah, right. Nowadays, you need to know 1,000 in order to get in. Mind you, you'll have trouble in a lot of classics classes, if that's all you know. But it's the bare minimum, he told me. Holy shit, I said. Yeah, well, that's what's important nowadays, he said. Geez. How's that? I couldn't imagine why. Don't ask me, he said. I'm a history professor. It's way out of my bloody field. I don't care about Confucius. If I had it my way, it'd still be like it was before. I see, I said. Until the tutors, Mimi said, pouring me into the drink. Hey, how about another game? I think he's heading to drink. I think he's heading out to drink, the professor said. In retrospect, he was absolutely right. But he has a wife. So, Hyun-ae, that's what happens when to wives who act like shrews. You are still a bitch. I love you, but you're still a bitch. I'm fine, I said. Absolutely wrong. I'm in security. We drink pretty fucking hard. So my wife keeps complaining, he responded. Fine. They formed the stupid part of the evening. I'll leave you to it. You two to it. Have fun, kids. He turned to look at Mimi. I'm gonna go find the maid you swindled that uniform from, since half the work's done for me. Give it back when you're done. Yes, sir, Mimi responded. Oh. That completely went over my fucking head at the time, on account of the drinking. I just realized right now, the joke was that Mimi had stolen the maid's clothes and the rightful owner was presumably naked somewhere. Holy fucking yikes. Here's one yike for you, sir. Man, I totally did not get that at the time. Anyway, then I was alone, for which I was kind of glad because it gave me a chance to get closer. So in the game, Mimi asked. My purse is empty. I've got nothing, I said. Play just for fun? I only play for keeps. How about I loan you back the 600 silver you just lost? Even if I could tell this was a bad idea at this point, or even I could tell this was a bad idea at this point. Too bad my dick couldn't, and that and the alcohol is definitely not helping. And it was what was making decisions for me at that point. I'll need to take something as collateral. What? I asked far too quickly. Is that out of excitement? What is he saying? Maybe a kiss, Mimi responded, smiling coyly at me. A finger against the lips. I was wrapped around that finger at this point. To make a long story short, I naturally agreed, and that kiss was, and the kiss that was taken from me was amazing. You know, the kind that just makes you want more and more and frustrates you? That was the point, I have no doubt. It fucking well worked. I didn't want to win back my money. That was just money. I wanted to win Mimi. What is he saying? Maybe you're too sensitive. It's cute in a way, I suppose. Is this how adults are? Kinda. What? Anyway, I sure did win back the money. I was cleaned out in 10 minutes. Well, I'm off, Mimi said, starting to pull the strewn clothes into something more proper-like. Wait, I said, not actually having a follow-through. I just stared at her for a moment, trying to think of something. How much to pay you back? Hey, Young Bok? I'm sure I can find you. How about I pay you with dinner sometime, I asked. Mimi laughed. Cute boy, you know I'm not a girl, right? He asked. Yeah, I was actually wondering that. Oh wow, I misread that one. Well, if he's a man, that's okay. Do you think I would have let you kiss me if you were? I asked. I thought it was the coolest fucking line at the time. It wasn't. True, but definitely not fucking cool. You're funny, he said. I'll see you around. I sure hope so. After he left, I stumbled back out to the main party, thankfully to discover that the actors were done and that there was now food to be had, which I sure needed. I really couldn't get that card-hustling boy in the sight of his really gorgeous body and that kiss out of my head. Still can't. Even though eventually the family members just stopped bothering me because I was pretty clearly spaced out by thinking of them. I only feel a little bad. If I'm going to be played, man, it could be a lot worse than by someone like that. A lot worse. Damn. Sure if I see him again. We've been at this for a while. Oh no. Hey. I'm doing just fine, but I think Hyun-ae could really use a break from all this reading. Really? You didn't throw her under the bus, huh? Huh? I'm fine. I'm happy to get back to it. Okay, fine. I can really use a break. Atta girl. I'm feeling, I don't know, I guess it's like culture shock. Oh, I know what that's like. I'm really sorry. Oh, shut up. I don't want pity. I just need like a few minutes to recontextualize things. You think that'll be okay? Yeah, fine. Okay, thanks. I'd appreciate that too, really. Okay. I feel like the big thing to me is, like, what is it with the Heo family? I was attached to the Ryu family for 312 years, and I've seen a lot, okay? Like, I've seen shit as crazy as adoptive heirs taking the throne, and a queen who secretly manipulated the emperor behind his back. So basically par for the course for your average royal monarchy. But I've never seen anything from a respectable noble family that's anything like what the Heo family was like. Does that seem normal to you? What? You mean them? I mean, normal is it's a bit of a rigid way of describing it. Normal. Normalcy is more just what you're used to, really, what you're most adapted to. So for me, it wouldn't be normal, but it does happen. Keep making faces. So really the honest answer would be no, or sometimes it happens, because it's not normal for me, but that kind of shit does happen. I'll go with sometimes it happens, because that's the truth. It's less of an may not happen to me, but it happens. I don't know if that's how the game is interpreted, but whatever. Really. I guess even in your world it can't be helped. In any world, humans like that. So, like, is that why you're not married? Is it too hard to find good women who understand how roles work? No, that is not it. That is wait, complicated. It's complicated. It's not that. Okay. Oh, okay, fair enough. I guess there's no way you can explain that to me easily like this. Are you sure he understood your original question, though? What? It's rude to patronize a man like that. Of course he understood. My overthinking just demonstrated that. No, I didn't quite. I'm not sure if you... Well, I assume you were probably looking for a more personal one now, after the fact, you know. Hindsight 2020, so on and so forth. But at the time, I was assuming if you were asking a more general, like, is this how society works or something? Well, I wasn't sure if you were asking... I'm kind of going back and forth. Redundancy. I wasn't sure if you were asking a more personal question or more of a society-based question. So that's kind of the... Well, I was trying to weigh back and forth between. Well, I kind of didn't, so could you please explain what you meant by that? Really, isn't it obvious? Really? It's a family led by a woman. Like, Old Mute was clearly attached to the family for a long time, but how did it even happen the main branch of the Hale family was run by a woman without any sons? Like, that's inherently a dead end. Even ignoring the unsuitability of a woman for that kind of responsibility, like, a Heo woman wouldn't have a son named Heo, so how does the branch even continue? Why are you looking at me? You kind of look at your tits, really. Well, you're from the barbaric past. Is that a normal thing as far back as your times too? Let me think. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I heard that was all pretty normal. Thinking about all my books, but I was pretty young, so. Still, if it wasn't your books, it's not like your parents would have given you books full of stuff they realized is morally depraved or anything. Yeah, probably not. So, how'd that work then? Like, would the branch just change? Would one of her sons be adopted into the Hale family, or what? Like, how would old Mute know that what person to be associated with after Sejong was gone? Would she just suddenly change families? Like, what would her relationship be? I'm sorry, I have no idea. Oh. Sorry, I wish I could tell you, but, I was really young when I got frozen, remember? That's not the sort of thing a 13-year-old worries about. That's not the sort of thing a 13-year-old worries about. Okay. Yeah, you okay? Yes, I'm fine. Really? You're kind of crying. Oh, sorry, it's just... Oh, wow. That's the first time anyone's ever been willing to take my views on how things were in the past seriously, or given any sort of credit on my real parents. Oh, Hyun-ae. Thank you so much, Mute. Okay, let's just get back to work, okay? Maybe somehow it'll make more sense to me as I read. Thank you. Please knock it off, jeez. Mr. Investigator, rescue me from her. And there you go. Right, okay. I'm gonna end this episode here. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.